I have been to Vegas so many times I lose track, but every single time I go, it's an extreme event. That wasn't the exception in March of 2000, or wait, I don't even remember. I was so drunk, I don't even remember when it was. However, 7 days, two hotels, probably $10,000 on food, and of course, shows, shows, shows. And I hit it big, winning $18 in poker. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Xtreme channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. This video is going to be twofold. One, I'm going to talk to you about my most recent trip to Vegas. It is my second one in 3 months, and I have another coming later this year. But second, I'm going to tell you about the things I do when I'm in Vegas. Both the really expensive, really cool stuff that you may not ever get to do or you want to do, and both how to save money and be cheap. Because if you're new to the channel, you may not know I am the cheapest rich guy or the richest cheap guy you will ever meet. So I think there's a lot of things that are worth spending money on and a lot of things that aren't. So I'm going to kind of chronicle this trip and tell you where those advantages are and aren't, and the different experiences such as the food and the hotels and of course these shows. To help it flow, I'm going to talk about the trip in chronological order. But first, go back and check out this video because some of the things I did were the same, two namely, and some weren't. Starting with a limo. We always do limos in Vegas. Fortunately, this was both a work and personal trip, so someone else paid for the limo. But a limo is so cheap in Vegas, whether you want it from transportation to the airport, to the hotel, or vice versa, or just cruise around on the strip hitting up all the attractions. And then the limo dropped me off at the absolute shittiest hotel there is, the Link. Now, I stayed at this about 20 years ago when it was Imperial Palace, and it has not improved at all. Don't let these photos be misleading, it is not that great. One of the things that sucks about the hotel is the room. It is absolutely horrible in my opinion. So it is dirty, there's not much going on. They don't even have a microwave. There I am right there. So they don't even have a microwave. They don't have anywhere to keep stuff cold. They don't have a fridge. And not only that, but they only let you do internet on 2 devices. And once it kicks you off, you have to log in as a new device. So essentially you have to pay more money. There's the shitty pool outside that nobody was at because this was February of 2024. But I can't say enough bad things about the Link. In Vegas, typically on the strip, the hotels, what you pay for is what you get. It doesn't mean you have to go $600 or $700 a night. Now, the reason I stayed here is my work actually paid for it and booked it for me. I wouldn't have booked here, and I gave the guy who booked it a lot of shit, but it's just not a good hotel. It's not good to hang out in. The rooms aren't good. However, what's really good about the Link is some of the stuff that it offers next to it. For example, they have the High Roller, which I haven't been on yet. I'm doing it my next trip. And of course they have the promenade next to the Link. So this is kind of a strip of shops and restaurants that's pretty cool at night, to be honest with you. It's a neat place to hang out. And one of the restaurants I want to highlight is Gordon Ramsay Fish and Chips. So I've been to almost every Gordon Ramsay restaurant. This was my first time here. I really liked it. Now they have a number of options besides fish. They also have chicken and lobster, and it's all fried of course, and sausage. And if you really like battered stuff, you will love this. It is pricey at about 35 bucks each, but I would highly recommend checking it out if this is your thing. So that was day one at the hotel. Then for dinner, we went over to Gallagher's Steakhouse at New York, New York. Now I'd never been here, even though I'm a big steak guy. We ate steak all week. They paid for it, which was fantastic. The vendors did, and this was great. I was really pleasantly surprised. I like a lot of the restaurants at New York, New York. You could actually see your dry-aged steak in the window, which was kind of cool. I thought this was fantastic. There were 4 of us. Dinner was about $2,000 with wine and add-ons, but the sides were great. The steak was great. I was very impressed. I would definitely go here again. So after we ate dinner, and this is just a stock photo, by the way. I had my prime rib. It was a little bit more well done, but not much more. If you get well done on your meat, get the hell out of here and stop watching my channel. But after that, we went over to Brad Garrett's Comedy Club in MGM. This was my second time here, and I was equally disappointed. I had a few laughs, absolutely. Brad Garrett wasn't there. He hasn't been there the last 2 times I was there. The comedians are very mediocre, in my opinion. It's almost like a low-grade comedy club. I see funnier comedians at local clubs, personally. Before we get to day 2, I want to give you a few tips. If you're staying on the strip, don't buy your drinks in the bars. they're 3 times as much. Go to Walgreens or CVS, the ABC stores, they're popular everywhere. Even some of the little stands where beers are $4 to $6 instead of $15 to $20. So I always stock up, usually at Walgreens or CVS, not only on beer and water for my room, but also if you want to do snacks. So for example, if you're going with your family, you can feed a family of 4 or 5 with stuff in here for 30 bucks compared to 200 at a restaurant. So I highly recommend you go there first. You always stock up. And with that being said, make sure you have the arms to carry it all the way back to your hotel room. Another tip is about transportation. So you have a few options. You can walk 50 miles a day. You can do lifts, which are relatively cheap, or you can do the monorail. This was my first time using the monorail, and for the first half of the week I was sold. You pay about $10 a day for a pass, depending how long you want to do it. And if you're one of those people that don't mind walking 10 miles a day, it can take you within 2 miles or 1 mile of every single hotel you want to go to. However, on our second to last day, we got trapped inside. And they wouldn't let us out. They said a technician was en route, so someone actually broke through the window in the emergency exit to get us out. So for that reason, I'm not sold on it anymore. After a long second day, we went over to the Wynn for dinner. Now, I love the Wynn. It's beautiful. They have art everywhere. They have some cool stuff in the shops. You can't obviously buy a McLaren. Maybe you can. I don't know, but here's the McLaren. There's the watch I've had my eye on for about a year. So really high-end shops, kind of like Caesar's Forum and those places. But we went to this restaurant right here. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's a different kind of Italian. So they actually had like 4 courses, and one of the middle courses was pasta, and then I had steak for dinner. It was good. I'd rate it about 4 or 5. I probably wouldn't go back there, but this is where we had dinner again. Vendors paid for it, which was fantastic because it was about a $2,500 dinner, and there were 7 or 8 of us there. So highly recommend this at the Wynn. Definitely check it out, but I wouldn't go twice. On day 3, after another long day of work, they took us out to Peter Luger in Caesars. So this is a steakhouse, and I'd never been here before. And first of all, the ambience is fantastic. As you can imagine, it was just as expensive as some of the other restaurants, but it was really different. So they don't list what type of steak you can get. It's a steakhouse, obviously. But they say, do you want steak for 1, steak for 2, steak for 3, or steak for 4, or any combination of those, plus different appetizers and sides. And it's essentially family style for your steak. And they cut up the steak for you, which is good because it made me feel like a child again. This is just a stock photo right here. But they cut up the steak for you, and I posted some pictures on social media. Someone's like, why are you using a spoon for a steak? You can see right here, they actually use the spoon to pour the juice back on top of it. But it was a fantastic dinner. Overpriced, but unique experience. It was damn near, I think, less than $2,000 for 5 of us. I wouldn't go back, but I'm glad I went there. So work was finally done. Next day, I went and picked up my wife from the airport, and we did a number of things. We ate out again every night. We switched hotels. I'm going to talk about that. And of course, we checked out the Sphere show. So it's just the normal show. You'll see that in a bit. I actually had tickets to U2 last month, and I couldn't make it down. Hashtag real world problems, am I right? So first, I switched hotels to the Mirage. Now, the Mirage is a little bit lower end, but it's competitively priced, and I used points, so I got it for free, which was nice anyway. And I was pleasantly surprised. So recently, a few years ago, Hard Rock actually bought the Mirage from MGM. And while the rooms were dated, without a doubt, as you can see, it was much bigger, had all the amenities. You didn't need to worry about internet. You had plenty of that. So I was very happy with that decision. We're actually going to stay there when we come back in 4 or 5 months with the children. After we got in that hotel, we went over to the Venetian to go to Mercata del Pesceria. I think I'm saying that right. Italian. There's lots of Italian places there. We've had 2 or 3 in the past. This was pretty good. Service was a little slow, even though they weren't busy. And they had a huge portion of lasagna, a huge portion of chicken parm, so really classic Italian stuff. We probably wouldn't go there again, but it was a 4 out of 5, I would say. So before we walked over to the Sphere, which you can go through the Venetian to get there, we went to the interior gondola ride. So we've never done this before. It is way overpriced. By the way, the -5-degree ice bar in the back we have done before, and that is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend that. But it was fun. It lasted about 10 minutes or so, and it was 75 bucks, and we had to share the gondola with some strangers who were actually pretty cool. You know, they sang, it was very pleasant, and you have the entire atmosphere of the hotel. So again, one of those things that's overpriced, but you definitely want to do once in your life. But I don't know if the outside experience was a lot more, but it was very windy when we were there, so we just stayed on the inside. And then we decided to walk on over to the Sphere. The Sphere, again, is going to be one of those overpriced things that you have to see. Even from the outside, it's cool to look at, and there's a lot of vantage points, whether it's the monorail on top of another bridge. But we walked over there. It was about half a mile from the Venetian, and it's so bright, not only at night, but during the day. You can just see it plain as day, and I wish they would do a Death Star on there. That would be amazing. But on the inside, after we waited a long time to get in, it was very cool. However, the coolness wore off. You found out you were trapped inside for over an hour till the real show started, and you were supposed to look at 3 animatronic robots from Chuck E. Cheese for an hour, and plus the drinks were really expensive as well, $20 each. So we had prime seats. We were right in the middle, the second level. No one's on the first level unless it's a concert, but so we sat down early because the robots weren't that entertaining. You can see it right here, what it looks like before it's turned on. And then I'm going to show some of the scenes from it. The best way I can describe this is if you've ever done Soarin' in Disney, it's like that times 20, except they don't have the water effect. The HD screen is the most clear I've ever seen in my life, and they chose some amazing images from around the world. I really enjoyed this. Again, it was overpriced, but I would definitely do it again if they had a completely different type of show. But pricey for sure. I think we ended up spending about $300 on the 2 tickets we had, plus all the convenience fees.
Rivers, chasms, fjords, and gorges.
On the way back, you probably know Vegas is not a stranger to desserts. We stopped by Buddy V's, the to-go dessert restaurant. We've eaten at the regular restaurant before, and it's overrated in my opinion. But we stopped at the actual Buddy V's and picked up some cannolis and some cake. Vegas is the dessert town of the world. There are so many good options, from cookies and cake to gelato, real ice cream. We saw more gelato locations than we saw anywhere. And of course, you have the giant-sized drinks, which we didn't get any this time, although I've had plenty of in the past, and so have my children. Don't worry, without alcohol. Sometimes. The next morning, we went to the Awana Spa. That's in the World Resorts, down on the north end of the Strip, and we each got a massage. We didn't get a couple's massage because that was $2,000, but if we each got our own massage in a different room, it was only about $1,000 total. Now, the reason we chose the Awana massage, besides the fact they did a great job with the massage, they have the most amazing couples area. So it's a co-ed area. You have your own locker rooms where you can do whatever you want naked, where they have a sauna and a hot tub. But this is the couples area right here. So they have 4 different plunge pools. One is 60 degrees all the way up to 102 degrees. They have crazy showers. They have steam rooms. They have salt rooms. They have a TV room where you can actually kick back and watch sports. It is just an incredible spa. It's definitely something you pay a lot of money for, without a doubt, but it was so worth it. Probably won't do it again due to the hefty price tag, but we're glad we experienced it once. Again, if you want a couples co-ed area, because you can stay in there for 3 hours after your massage, this is definitely the place on the Strip to check out. World Resort, so it's about a mile walk from our hotel. We took the train, which was still about 0.7 miles away the other direction. After junk shopping for the kids that night, we went to Galpo Gacho for dinner. So this is a Brazilian steakhouse where they have tons of different types of meat. They come to your table, it's a set price. What we liked about this place is they had some stuff that a lot of the other ones like Texas de Brazil or Fogo de Chão didn't have, such as cheese and pineapple and some other cuts of meat. However, the cuts of meat were not as good as some of the other places we went to. So we were disappointed by that because we spent about $200 here for dinner. But I did like the variety they have, and service was excellent as well. So if you've ever been to one of these, you know you walk out ready to die and have the meat sweats. If you've never been to one of these, Texas de Brazil is my favorite for a chain. So we won't go back to this one, but it was still fun to do. And that night at the Mirage, we went to see Love by Cirque du Soleil. So I've seen about 20 Cirque shows. I have seen Love before, and my wife had never seen it, so I really wanted her to see it. And it was 100% justification why it continues to run. It is one of the best Cirque shows, even if you're not a huge Beatles fan. It's just really impressive, and it's kind of different than a lot of your typical Cirque shows, although they incorporate a lot of the acrobatics. obviously the dancing, the music. So it was super entertaining despite the fact I was about 20 drinks in and I was having trouble focusing. Let's just say that. But my wife loved it and she agrees one of the top shows in Vegas. So if you haven't seen it, we had great seats right up front. Huge fan. Next morning, our favorite part of Vegas, the Wynn Buffet. We always have to make reservations online so we don't have to wait because I've seen the standby line up to 2 hours before. This is amazing. Very pricey. You're paying about $80 per person, and it has everything. We like to go for brunch, so we get breakfast and lunch, eat prime rib and eggs and dessert. It is just great. The ambiance is fantastic. This time it was really busy and it didn't seem like they had enough people there, so that was a little disappointing, but I will always go back. Now, we got the endless pour package this time. That is a mistake. Do not get the endless drinks because your stomach simply doesn't have enough room when you are focusing on eating so much. Then we puttered around and finally went down to the Strap because we had reservations at Top of the World despite how windy it was. We tried to cancel, but they wouldn't let us cancel. But we had tickets to Illuminate. These are from America's Got Talent. We've seen most of the America's Got Talent shows that are already in Vegas, from Terry Fator to Piff to countless other ones. This was pretty good, especially for a cheaper show. We were right up front. They actually got me to get up and dance, but you couldn't see me because I didn't have any lights on. Mrs. X got pictures, you just couldn't see it. But it was really creative. It was really fun. The audience was only about half full for a Saturday afternoon, which was interesting. But definitely recommend this. The disadvantage is it's way down at the Strat. Now, during the show, we got a call from the Top of the World restaurant say they were canceling our reservations. Good luck finding somewhere else on a Friday night. So we didn't get to eat there, which would have been neat. So instead, we went to Gordon Ramsay Burger, which I'd been to a few times as well, but Mrs. X hadn't. Amazing burger, not worth $40, but we really enjoyed the time and we really enjoyed saving a lot of money by not eating at the Top of the World. Now that concluded this trip, so hopefully you got some tips or tricks or were at least entertained. If not, check back some of these videos. This is our Vegas trip a few months prior to this at the end of 2023. And then we have one from 2022 where I actually took my children, which we're going to do again later this year. So if you want tips and tricks with kids, check out this video as well. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you got to be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you want to make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Whether you're new or a regular follower, thank you so much for watching this extreme travel video. Please leave a comment below. That'll enter you into win a $1,000 prize. And consider subscribing. We do travel videos 3 or 4 times a month, as well as a lot of other extreme stuff like collecting and just cool events in general. Thanks so much. Take care.